Trump's military power put on trial. All right, here we go. Let's get right into this. Hi guys, welcome back to The Baseline. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you guys are doing well. All right, so they told you the President of the United States couldn't just roll tanks into your city for crowd control. And yet, here we are in San Francisco in a federal courtroom watching a trial that could redraw the line between state sovereignty and federal muscle. Because when Marines and National Guard troops start arresting civilians on American soil, that's not just breaking the rules. That's shredding a promise we've had since 1878. So here's my question for you, and answer it honestly in the comment section below. If the Commander-in-Chief, the President of the United States, decides you are the problem, who's to stop him? All right, so this isn't some dusty civics lesson. This is the first time in modern history a federal judge is putting a president's use of active duty troops on U.S. streets under a microscope in real live bench trial. It's big because it's never been tested like this. And it's easy to follow, right? Because there's only one question here. Did Trump's deployment cross the legal line? And it's a new thing, right? Because this isn't just about impeachment or January 6th or classified documents. This is about a 145-year-old law that's been waiting for its day in court. And it's safe to say, if California wins here, the presidency's break glass in case of protest powers are about to shrink. So here's what we're going to try to unpack today. One is, what exactly is the Posse Comitatus Act? And why is it the legal equivalent of garlic to a vampire when it comes to military policing? Two is, how did California itself convince a federal judge to put this on trial in the first place? And the Ninth Circuit already sided with Trump on a related issue. Now, this brings us to three, which is, what happens if Judge Charles Breyer says, yes, the line was crossed? And then the Supreme Court gets the final word. So we could end up with a ruling that permanently changes how and if a president can use troops inside the United States. Now, before we dive into all this, remember, this isn't a jury or a 12 everyday Americans hearing evidence type of trial. This is one man, Judge Charles Breyer, the brother of retired Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer, weighing the Constitution, the facts, and a 145 years of history, right? One gavel, one ruling, one ripple effect that could hit every state in the country. So here's headline number one, and it's the law nobody thought would matter again, and it's the Posse Comitatus Act, 18 U.S.C. 1385. It says you cannot use the Army, Air Force, Marines, Navy, and now even the Space Force to enforce domestic law unless Congress or the Constitution gives you explicit permission. It was born in 1878 when the South basically said to the federal government, we'll rejoin your union, but get your troops off our streets. And for nearly a century and a half, it's been more like a museum piece than a courtroom weapon. But that's until now. Now here's headline number two. What California says Trump did back in 2020. Protests erupted in California over Trump's immigration crackdown. The allegation? Active duty Marines weren't just standing guard at federal buildings. They were actively detaining protesters, making arrests, and doing police work. Now, California's Attorney General Rob Bonta says that crosses the line from security to civilian law enforcement. And no statute lets a president order Marines to do that on United States soil. Here goes headline number three, the Ninth Circuit curveball. And here's where it gets messy. Earlier, California sued over Trump taking control of the California National Guard. That's called federalizing the Guard. And Judge Breyer originally sided with California, saying Trump overstepped. But the Ninth Circuit reversed that part, saying the president can commandeer a state's guard in certain situations. But the key twist, that appeal never touched the Posse Comitatus issue because Breyer hadn't ruled on it yet. Now, that's the trial we're in now. So that brings us to headline number 4, the defense playbook. Trump's lawyers are leaning hard onto 2 arguments. One is that the president, as commander-in-chief, can't violate the Posse Comitatus because he controls the military. 2, using National Guard troops creates an exception. Now, Breyer's response so far has been, nice try, but I want evidence, pictures, witnesses, testimonies. And if Marines were cuffing civilians, he wants it on the record. Now, imagine all this, guys, right? Imagine you're at a protest. You've got a sign, you've got a mask, you're chanting, right? And you expect local cops, maybe state troopers, to be there. But instead, a Marine in fatigues grabs your arm and drags you into a van. No badge, no Miranda rights, just a uniform designed specifically for war. Now, that's the nightmare scenario the Posse Comitatus Act was supposed to prevent. And that's exactly why California is pressing this case like it's the Super Bowl. Because if a president can send in the military for law enforcement whenever they feel protest interference, what's the limiting principle? So today, it's immigration protests. Tomorrow, labor strikes. Next week, it could be journalists. So Judge Breyer's ruling won't be the last word. Whatever happens, it's heading back to the Ninth Circuit and maybe all the way to the Supreme Court. And if the High Court decides presidents can bypass Posse Comitatus when they feel like it, that's not just a California problem. That's a state, every citizen, every protest from here on out. But here's the real cliffhanger. All of this is happening while the Supreme Court has already granted sweeping immunity to official acts by a president. So the question becomes, if Trump broke the law, will the law even matter at that point? And that is a conversation we're going to have next. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you guys think I have this all off? What do you think the judges are going to do? I'd love to hear your opinion. In the meantime, guys, we'll catch you in the next round of the baseline, and I really appreciate you guys watching. Cheers, everybody.